When we think of power in Joseon society, the first thing you might think of is the class structure. The rigid Neo-Confucianist values built a class system equally immobile. On paper, it seems that those who were born into lower households or into slavery might be trapped for life. But there were still means of rising in power if one was in low class. In the period films The King and the Clown, Hwang Jin-yi, and Gundo, slaves and outcasts are able to break social norms via emotions, gender inequality, and the power of numbers. The King and the Clown opens with Gongil and Jang-seng. Immediately we see how little power they have over their own lives when Gongil is ordered into prostitution. He makes no verbal objection, and based on their superior's reaction to Jang-seng's objection, it is clear that it is not his choice. Eventually, the two make their way up to the palace, where they work for the king. While their living situation improves, they are still completely at the will of the king. While Gongil gains the affection of the king, it gains him extra permissions within the palace as well as a title. His power is shown when he is able to save Jang-seng's life after he breaks back into the castle and insults the king, when he pleads with the king, begging him to spare Jang-seng's life. If any of the other performers had tried this, they likely would have also been killed, as we see King Yeon-sam's ruthlessness throughout the film. When Gongil uses his emotional influence over the king, he is still completely at his whim. However, this means his influence really is only effective on King Yeon-sam. Gongil is also shown to be physically weak throughout the film, which is quite the limiting factor. He has no physical strength and is never shown fighting, and his climb up the ladder is based solely on his emotional ties to the king. Hwang Jin-yi and Nomi's relationship starts out as that of a yangban and a slave, but switches places over the course of the film. In the beginning of the film, we see a young Nomi getting beaten for taking Lady Hwang Jin-yi to the festival, and using her status, she is able to defend him. Later in the film, it is revealed that Hwang Jin-yi is the daughter of a slave. She is forced to leave her household to pursue the much lower status career of a kiseng. Nomi reveals that he is the one who leaked her birth secret, and for a pretty selfish reason at that. How could this situation be different if the gender roles were reversed? We get a partial answer when Hwang Jin-yi's non-birth mother tells her about the late baron's infidelious actions, and how, as a lady of the house, it seemed she really had no other option than to lie to save her husband's reputation. However, when Nomi, a slave, reveals the truth of Hwang Jin-yi's birth to a noble, he is taken seriously despite his status. Nomi is presented to be a very masculine character throughout the film. He is always there to save Hwang Jin-yi from danger, and in the shots they are shown together, he is always towering over her. The way he speaks to her is also much more brash than a typical slave should be, but he faces no repercussions for this. By the end of the film, their power dynamic has completely swapped, where he has a higher place in society as a bandit leader, and she is just a kiseng. In the film Kundo, we follow the story of Dolce, who is born into a family of butchers, making him an outcast. While he remains part of the class system, he is treated as less than and untrustworthy. He is later saved by a clan of bandits, who recruit him as one of their own, and he trains with them to become one of their most infamous members. He becomes notorious for chopping off the yangban's top knots, the relevancy of which is explained in the film.
신체 발부 수지 부모라 하여 머리카락과 털을 목숨보다 귀히 여기던 조선 사회에서 성인 남성의 상징과도 같은 상투를 자르는 도치의 행위는 국가의 근본 이념에 정면으로 도전하는 과격한 행위였지만 도치에게 그것은 단순한 취미 생활에 지나지 않았다.
By challenging the class system when Dolce removes top knots, he raises many questions about the place of bandits in society. On paper, they might have been recorded as anomalies, or part of the outclass caste, but the power they hold over most nobles in the movie would suggest otherwise. The other aspect of the film is how the sheer number of bandits can shift the class system. Through the film, we see multiple riots and uprisings that would not be possible if not for the sheer amount of people that were there. Similarly, Dolce would not be nearly the threat he is without the clan of bandits behind him. But do the actions of the bandit clan truly change the class system, or do they temporarily disrupt it? Despite the power they hold, their class has not changed. Throughout these films, we see how those in lower classes can maneuver their way through the class system for their own personal gain. If Gongu, Nomi, or Dolce's stories were real, would we know about them today? Or would their class merely remain as that of a low-class person? And were there any people in the Joseon dynasty who had similar stories, but due to their lack of recording as a low-class person, we never know about them?